Yeah, obviously, incredibly proud. Um, Played a really good team, really talented Toledo team. Obviously, they won 11 straight, close to being 12-0. Obviously, defending MAC champs. Everybody predicted them to win the league this year for good reason. They got a great team. They're really well coached. Have no, like we said last week, just don't have any weaknesses. Like there's no like great team, but we feel like if we attack here, that gives us the best chance. There's really no way on either side of the ball. They can run, they can throw it. They got backs, receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks, O-line. So had a good plan going in. Coaches, we talked all week about what gives us the best chance to beat them. Our coaches did a great job getting our kids prepared for what we have to do. And from the opening kickoff, it went exactly how we planned. We haven't taken the ball. We took the ball. We really, Coach Panowski really liked our chances on KOR to get off to a good start. We really want to get off to a good start. Whenever you're underdog, you want to play from a lead anyways, but when you're the favored team, easier to come back. When you're the underdog, just hard. The team that's supposed to win gets ahead, and, playing catch-up against a really talented team is never good. So, we really felt like getting off to a fast start was going to be a key, and then we get the good kickoff. Then Rashad makes a big play early, and next thing you know, we got three, and it just, again, great way to start it, and then kids just kept playing. And again, like I said, after its game pride, no one deserves to lose. Our defense was, they've been great all year, but it's different being great against that talented offense. I mean, there's teams we are great against. It's hard to be great as consistently as our defense has been great. But against that team, you're talking about the last 6 quarters we defended Toledo's offense, who's averaging well over 30-some points a game. We held them to 14 points. Over 6 because we shut them out in the second half. The last time we held them to 14 points in this game, which is just again, they've been incredible all year. Coach Breakin and the staff have done an unbelievable job preparing our guys, and we have really good players over there. But that doesn't mean you play at the level they've played at. They've been a dominant defense start to finish. And then obviously in that game, when you play that prolific an offense, hold that team to 14 points is, again, what we needed, but an incredibly tall task. We take for granted how good they've been, but a different animal going against DeQuan Finn and Penny Boone, all those cats they have, Special teams obviously was phenomenal again. They've been phenomenal all year. Ertl blocks 2 kicks. Opening kickoff, huge return, 37-yard return by Mosey. We almost block a punt. We force bad punts. Cade does a great job. He has one really good return that sets up our first touchdown, but also just him catching the ball and setting, and again, keeping the field position. Bev averages 46 yards on 6 punts and 4 inside the 20. And again, field position. It's always important. But obviously, with who we were down the stretch, playing a little bit closer to the best and keeping us in situations where we didn't have to take a ton of risks. And then you get to the offense, and we talked all week, like no one's driving on this defense. We got to make chunk plays, and from the first drive, Rashid chunk play, and then all our scoring drives, we had a chunk play, whether it be AV's huge run at the end of the game, whether it be a huge pass to Luke Bolden, whether it be a huge pass to Rashad. Every single drive that we got points on, we got a chunk play, chunk runner pass, which was, we didn't turn the ball over. They turned it over twice. We did not turn the ball over. One time they turned over inside our 35 on their first drive. Again, there's points to be had there. They don't get them in a where it's going to be a one-score game if things go well. And then obviously the last pick took away all chances for them to make a little comeback late, and then we don't turn the ball over, which again keeps them on a long field, keeps our defense on a great field, keeps allowing our special teams to have an opportunity. When you turn the ball over, we don't send our punt unit out there. Well, we want to send our punt unit out there. Putting Bev out there is a weapon. So, and then, AV played his tail off. Again, he's played his tail off the 4 games before, but just different level of competition. Like, they're just better than, they're so the stakes were higher, the moment was higher, there was nothing easy out there. AV didn't have time to make decisions in the run game. He didn't have time to make decisions in the pass game. He made a lot of decisions under duress. His numbers obviously threw for 100. He ran for 100. Were really good, but some of his best plays, he got us incompletions and not sacks. You know, some of his, if you look at just his numbers throwing it, like there was times, you know, he had a big one and KD got called back. And then other times we didn't have time against a really talented defense, and we were trying to push the ball down the field and create some big plays, which take a little longer. Sometimes we had the time, sometimes we didn't. And when we didn't, he still got us. It was 2nd and 8. He scrambled or he threw it away, and just how he managed. And we put a lot on his plate running, and we put on a lot on his plate because we were going to try to create chunk plays. We're going to try to push. We took a lot of shots. We didn't get a ton out of them, but we were there to win from the first play of the game. We were trying to take a shot to the last play of the game. We were trying to take a shot. Like we were trying to make big plays. We knew they're talented. We knew we couldn't drive maybe as consistent as we could in other games. So let's get the ball down the field in a hurry and let's go win this thing. So his ability to manage game. Obviously, Rashad ran great again. Obviously, when you know we're trying to, we get the ball back with 7 and we can go 6 plays, 75 yards, all on the ground for a touchdown. And punch it in. Obviously, the best sequence of the game for the offense when we need them the most. They're there, and we always talk about that. Whenever we need something, it seems like that side of the ball steps up. So, no turnovers, chunk plays on offense, dominating defense, dominating special teams, and then a huge drive by the offense at the end. And you're a touchdown underdog, and you come away with a 9-point victory. Pretty resounding win against a tremendous football team. Like, that's what makes it feel so good, because we know we beat a great team. Like, it's not like, oh, they were overrated and we've been disrespected. No, they're great. They're a great team. That's what makes it so worthwhile. We know we went into an environment as an underdog against a team that legitimately deserves where they're at, and they didn't play bad. We played our tails off. They did not, and we just outplayed them. And we didn't outplay them by a lot. We didn't, like I said, nobody probably deserved to lose that game. See Finn after the game and how hard that kid competes. I'm sure they feel exactly like we feel about AV, and I'm sure all the other kids, they feel exactly, they got an Ertl, and they've got a Ty Wise, and they've got a Fred. I mean, they feel exactly about their. That's why they're there. That's why it's 11-1, 10-2, and that's why the first game was so great and close, and the second game, but just to do it the way we did it, and just such a team effort. And again, we told them on Monday what we had to do, and they practiced to do it, and then they went out and did it. It was kind of weird. Very rarely does the game go exactly how you wanted. We talked about, like I said, when we took the balls, like, what the heck, our defense, like, come on, coach, like, what do we, am I panicking because it's a matter, like, am I just, now we're going to do something do something crazy? No, we told them why. I said, we feel really good about kickoff return. We're going to get a good field position. We're going to put together a drive, and we're going to get a lead. We're going to get on, we're going to punch them in the mouth early, and bam, it's 3-0, and bam, it's 10-0. You're like, okay, we've been talking about that all week. Like, okay, sometimes you're doing it, it's 9-0 at OU. You've done that one, like we were trying not to start fast at OU, right? Like, we're coming off a hard injury, and it's a road game. We got to go hit OU in the mouth, and just like we hit Cincinnati in the mouth, right? And then OU, bam, we didn't hit OU in the mouth. They hit us. Then, okay, well, now you got to regroup and try to win another way. But it just went to script, and then just chasing Finn around again for 8 quarters, chasing that kid around. I mean, how many times could we sack that kid? And we got great players. I mean, that's a credit to Finn. It's like, it ain't like the guys run there ain't great players. Like, they usually sack the guy, and it's like, he just, like, this is off the, I mean, it's just so hard, to keep that team, because you can't make him go backwards. Like, he makes so many plays, and then we had Ty on him afterwards. How many times did you see 10 chasing Finn? You know what I mean? And again, thank God we got Ty, because we don't have another, as great as Sally is, Sally can't chase Finn. Like, Sally don't run like Ty, you know what I mean? Like, how many times did Finn somehow escape, break loose, and usually it's a 30-yard game, and you don't even notice it, because Finn usually had some positive yards in those plays, but if we don't have Ty Wise, he runs for 30 yards. But Ty's chasing him at an angle, like the whole day. I mean, desperately hauling after a guy that's an electric athlete. And again, like I said, the hidden things in the game you don't see is, one, how good our rush did to get him flushed. I wish we could get him on the ground. We're going to get him this time. We didn't get him, We tried. I mean, don't get me wrong. D line were frustrated like, God. I mean, sometimes we had him dead. But then we had Ty, and he had the most unavailable job, because other people spied Finn. I watched him. We had a better player spying Finn, and then Chai just chased him. I think back right now as you're thinking, like, how many times you see 10 chasing, and he got 7 yards, but it could have been 50. Sometimes you just run 6 yards for a touchdown. And then we get, and it's not an easy task, and we had one guy probably in our program that could do it. And he did all day, and it's like all those little things that mean so much in the game, you know. So it was an incredible effort, it was an incredible season. Now you're talking about Power 5 win, Victory Bell win, all right? MAC East champs, Battle of the Bricks, beating OU on the road for the Battle of the Bricks in a week that we probably shouldn't have been our best, but we were our best. Finishing it out, getting to 10-win regular season, which hasn't happened hardly ever, all right? Now you're MAC champs. You know, I always tell everybody, like, we had 11 MAC champions between 1950 and 1977 in 28 years. Miami football tradition built, you know, Bo, Era, Woody, Pont, Mallory, Crum. 11, and it wasn't one every other year, but 11 and 28 is a pretty consistent, and the cradle of coaches was made, right? Like that's, and then from 1978 to 2019, we had 3 in 40 years. 3 MAC, and you know how many great players and great coaches, you know, and I'm so happy for so many reasons, but one that, like, I'm as happy for James Patton. Like, you talk about somebody who we all love Miami, but there's different love. Like his passion, he played here. He met his wife here, who played volleyball here. He got his first full-time job here with Randy Walker. Like, you're talking about just, there's so much, you know, you're talking about playing here, meeting your wife here, your family was made here, your first full-time job was with Randy Walker, as Randy Walker's turned around a little bad time into a really good time. And he even says 98, you know, we won 11-1, didn't win a MAC championship, didn't even go to a bowl game, you know, like, so he had unfinished business. I mean, his last year was one of the best years in 98, but don't even win the league because Marshall beat him. You know how hard it is to win, because you go 11-1 and have Randy Walker's last team that got him the Northwestern job, and it still wasn't good enough to win the MAC. It's hard. Like, it's just hard to win conference championships. There was 10 of us on Saturday. Now there's going to be 9 of us because there's no Pac-10. I mean, 9 conference, you know, we won 3 conference championships at Miami in 40 years. 40 years. You talk about that, like, and now we've won 2 in the last 5 or 2 in the last 4, depends if we count COVID. We played 3 games on it. You can count it, like, they're hard to win, you know, and this is the last year of the MAC East and West. All right, well, the last 9 years or last 8 years, whatever it is, there's only been 2 teams on our side. One, we did both times, you know, and now you're to 11 wins. Now you're one of 4 teams ever to have 11 wins. 73, 75, 2003, and 2023. There's four teams in the history of our school that have 11 wins. All right, you get to 12, now you're down to 2. It's just Ben's senior year in 03 and us, you know. And like I said, I don't even know how we stack up against. I know those 73. I've got to know the Mallory guys and the Crum guys, and those, like, I got a lot of friends and I know the Sherman Smith and the Carpenters and all like the insanity of how good those teams were and what they did, you know. I know the 98 team and how loaded they were. I was in the league in 98, so I saw it firsthand. I was at Eastern Michigan 98, you know. I know Travis Prentice, like, I know the dominant, you know. I also know how good Marshall was that year. That's why hard to win it, you know. And then, obviously, Ben's team, and again, you're talking about a first ballot Hall of Famer as your quarterback, but I also know who else was on that team. Like, there wasn't just Ben. They were loaded. That was a great, that would have been a great MAC team without Ben Roethlisberger. With him, just made it, maybe it's the best one ever. I don't know how they compare to 73 or 75. We can have that debate, right? But just for us, it's like, just even being that, like, hey, now, what was that 23 team about? I was a team that the quarterback broke his leg in the middle of the year, you know? I was a team that wasn't predicted, like, and I don't know how we stack up against it, but just for me, for our players, for our coaches, to just even when they talk about, and now you're going on the wall, and I always tell our kids, like, the regular season, like, what happened Saturday has nothing to do with 10-2 regular season. We were MAC East champs. We did all these wonderful things in the regular season, and they were not taking that. If we lose to Toledo in a hard-fought game, they don't take that from us. Championship games are so unique in the fact that if you win them, it's like the story from Sandlot, you know, like legends and the whole, like, if you win them, you go on the wall and it stays forever. If you lose them, it just didn't happen. Now, you still had a great regular season. You're still talking about 10 wins and Battle of the Bricks and beating UC and all that. But that game is just a single entry. It doesn't affect what you did in the season. If you lose, it doesn't take away from the regular season. If you win, it doesn't help the regular season. The regular season is just regular season. It was a wonderful regular season, a storybook regular season. But you win that game now, it says 19-23 on the wall. And when you come back to your grandkids, there is no runner-up wall. There's never been a runner-up wall. Probably should be one. But it just doesn't, there's a championship wall. And so I told our kids, like, this week is just this week. It's not going to enhance 10-2 or it's not going to take away from 10-2. It's either going to make history or you don't make history. And you're an underdog on the road and you don't have all your guns and people don't think you're going to do it. And they're talking about Toledo trying to sneak it into the New Year's Six. And that's the whole conversations all week. If these two teams lose, Toledo's getting in. And okay, well, let's see if we can jack that up a little bit because we want to win a game. So just now, can you get a bowl win? Can you get to 12? Can you even separate yourself from the 11-win teams and get a bowl win? Because the 3 team did it all. Regular season, MAC champs, bowl win, 13 wins. We can't catch them because they went 11-1. We went 10-2, so we can't get to 13. But again, could that just be the icing on the cake? And got a chance to go to Orlando. It's going to be a great venue, and you got a great opponent at Appy State. And so it's been remarkable. It's been a funny years I've been a part of, and it's been as challenging a year as I've been a part of as far as everything we've had to go through, from having a hard time to get Miami, Florida, to having a hard time to beat Toledo last Saturday. Like, that wasn't easy, and there's been a lot of stuff in between. And just our coach has been amazing, and players have been amazing, and you don't always get what you deserve, but I feel like those guys definitely got what they deserved.
Questions?
You mentioned Ty. Chasing Finn around all day. But watching that game at home, I was telling these guys, I was tired at the end of it. The energy your team expended, the whole team, was palpable, even that far away. Where did that come from?
Yeah, no, it was again. I had a college player that came to our Ball State game live. He came and sat on our sidelines at Ball State, and he's like, and we won, and we were happy after Ball State, but we knew it wasn't, and we knew we were fighting City Hall that week with a lot of things. We knew it was, what's sitting on, like, it is the ultimate trap game, like, literally. But we got through it, and when, again, our kids, to their credit, found a way to win it, and which is awesome. And then, like, they just sent me a text because he just watched us live. Then he watched it. He's like, "Wow, that was amazing." Yeah, a little different crew showed up. Like, same guys, but there's this. But that's same crew. If you watch the Cincinnati game, to the OU game, to our first Toledo game, like, you got to bring your A game to the. I mean, you'd like to bring your A game every week. It's probably not super realistic, but our kids are ready to go, and they were excited, and they were a really confident group. It's hard to be as confident as we are without your starting crew. Like, it's just our kids. Like, it's not going to, I don't know, it might be a little different. We're going to find a way, and they had a great resolve and just a ton of confidence going in. And again, like I said, we weren't self-aware at Miami. That's on me. We were totally respected. Like, not we're going to go kick Toledo's, you know what? They're going to, no, we know this is what we got to do is slow Finn down. We're not going to stop him. We got to slow him down. Like, we got to stay, it's like Rocky Balboa chasing the chicken, right? Like, that's about what it's like. But Rocky never cut it. We're going to keep chasing him, and we're going to wear him out. Like, he's going to get tired of running. And again, he did get tired. We got tired too. Breek at the end was like, and he was smart. He's like, hey, because we had timeouts when we were up 9 and didn't really need them, obviously. We were up 9. And Breek kept saying, oh, my guys are dying. Can we use one? I'm like, God, I go, yeah, but Finn's dying. Them receivers are dying too. I said, well, I think we're fine. Like, I know our guys are gassed, but I feel like, and we got 4 guys, and then Ty chasing Finn, and Finn's. I said, I don't want to get Finn a rest. Like, he's like, all right, like, because a lot of times we did in the first half. We took one in the first half just to give our defense a breath. But second half, I'm like, their receivers they keep running these verticals, and we're rerouting them. And I said, I know we're dying, but I feel like I don't want to get, and they, obviously Frizz makes a play, but just the amount of energy, yes, no. And if you were there, it would have been his sidelines. It was relentless, and we knew that's when you respect your opponent. When you don't respect your opponent, our kids knew who they're up against and what the kind of team, and hadn't lost and whatever, and and how talented. It's going to take every snap, and every snap was going to be hard. And their defense, Toledo's defense played great. And we fought, and we fought, and we fought, and we fought, and there wasn't, But we found, late we found a couple cracks, not big, but there was a couple cracks, and AV found a crack, and Rashad found a crack, and it wasn't like we're going to have these big. They're two just like against our defense. You're going to find a crack, and then you got to make it happen, and AV and those guys. So, and then ST, get the game to fourth down, and let's win fourth down, and that's been our deal all year, and that was important anything. But our energy was, our effort, our resolve was incredible to be part of. It really was.
Coach, your defense, has been great all year. Held Toledo to 13 points. What can you say about that?
Yeah, just amazing. Second, like I said, second best scoring defense since '82. If you go the MAC championship game, because West playing MAC championship game, now we passed them up, so now we can say we're the best. Because we did, they gave them. We passed them up. I think they gave like 24 in the MAC championship game. I think we now have the crown. So you'll spin. But again, they've been dominant all year from Delaware State on. They were awesome against UC. Delaware State, we took a sabbatical that week. That was probably our worst defensive performance of the year. Delaware State's thinking we hung more points than those guys than anybody than anybody in our league did. Like they're thinking hey, they're off pretty good, and they did. They deserve it. So, but then we got in league, and they just they've been dominant. Now it's 99 points in 9 conference games is absurd, and just how much we've relied on them down the stretch. Obviously, we haven't been afraid to punt the ball and play field position and put them on the field, and ball's 4th and 2 on the 42, and my guys want to go, and I get it, but we're going to punt it, we're going to hold them, we're going to get it back, and we got it back on the 39, and it's so they've been, again, our defense special teams has been talked about a lot, and they've both been amazing, dominant, and it's taken so many kids on that side of the ball and so many kids on special teams and so much effort by the coaches and preparation, and it's why we had 3 championships in 40 years. Hard to get them, but this group found a way to do it and did an amazing job all year.
You're headed down. Sorry, jeez. You're headed down to Orlando. You're going to be traveling there, I assume, during exam week. How does that kind of affect your players? Are they going to be doing exams online?
Yeah, we're working on it today. Obviously, it's bowl seasons that we can't control when the bowl game goes. It's during finals week, so we're going to need some help. We're going to proctor exams. We're going to try to get. Again, we're meeting today. We're working. We just got our bowl announcement last night, so we've been scrambling for 12 hours. But again, we have the teachers here are always so supportive of players. We have a bunch of good students. I don't have all good students, but I'm fortunate. I have a bunch of good students. So today, can you get stuff moved up? There's a different options here. They're depending on the class and the teacher and the whatever. Can you get your project moved up? Could you take your final maybe early before we leave? The biggest shame would be if these kids didn't get to enjoy their bowl trip. If anybody's earned this bowl trip, it's them, and this should be wildly fun. Will there probably have to some exams proctored on the bowl trips? Probably will have to happen. How do we manage that with some help? We're going to need some help and support from obviously the university and our academic people and some professors and all that. Can we get some stuff if the kid's a good student, can I take my final? Can I get my Wednesday final moved up because we're not leaving till Tuesday? So anything after Tuesday is going to be, it'd be well, my exam's at 11. He's got to take 11. Well, he could be the reward for all the hard work and being on ESPN for a 4-hour commercial. You can't buy a 4-hour commercial on ESPN, right? We were just saying Miami University is on ESPN, and we showed whatever we did was good. So it'd be a shame if no, he's got to take it at this certain time, and he could be at Universal Studios as part of his reward because they got a voucher to go to Universal one day, and it'd be a shame if our kids couldn't enjoy that. That would be so. We're working hard, and we're going to need some support. But like I said, the faculty here is always. We have so many faculty guys that support our kids all year round. So it kind of stinks for everybody, and it's going to be a pain in everybody's what. But I've done it before during bowl weeks where I was hoping maybe for a week later, and then for me, even for practices, we don't get our, there's negatives for football too. We get 15 bowl practices, obviously we're not getting 15 bowl practices, right? Well, and obviously we're not even going to get our normal because we're going to try to do more academics this week to maybe knock out some, so we're going to try to give them a little more free time this week and not, so it just, but we're going to Orlando, we're 11-2, we're the MAC champs, and we get to play a great team in Orlando, we ain't complain. I wish it was a week later, and I know it's going to put some people out, but I'm thanking them in advance for all their support of our kids, and I think our kids, anyone, and I think a bunch of our teachers know our kids good. Our kids are well worth maybe going the extra yard for, because they're pretty awesome representatives of Miami University.
Obviously, the transfer portal opened today. What do you kind of expect from this period, incoming and outgoing?
Don't expect anything. The portal opens, and you don't know till kids get in. I would not be surprised if everybody got in, nobody got in. I know this: if we could keep the band together, there's a lot of kids that could get in. Anybody could get in. And you don't, you react to the portal. There's no forecasting. But if we could keep the band together, that's what we've been talking about. If we got a number of guys that could get in, anybody. But if we keep this band together one more year, we're probably maybe third or fourth in the New Year's Six right now. We didn't quite. If we'd have beat Toledo the first time, we probably still wouldn't be in, but we're close this year to being the New Year's Bowl Six representative. Well, next year you get in. Next year is so cool. There's going to be 12, and there's going to be a non-Power 5 get in, and we're 30th in the country in the AP poll right now. We're probably one more win from being ranked in the top 25. We're 30th. They only show the top, but we're 30th, and so we're close to being that New Year. Now the New Year's Six becomes, you'd play a pissed off Florida State team, right, in the first round. But they wouldn't be as pissed because they'd be in. But that's the 5 seed, and then you'd be going to play and we have a group that's obviously, just based on what you did this year, you're close to. It's a realistic, tangible goal to be that New Year's Six representative. And now it's to be in the dance, And again, okay, well, you're going to be a huge. Well, let's go take a shot at who wouldn't want to do that So next year we have the opportunity. We have a great nucleus of players that have done. They're sitting at 11-2, and if you could go replicate that, it would let's keep the band together and make a run at this thing. So that's my goal. I don't know what the kids we're going to find out today, tomorrow, the next day as all this mayhem happens, and then we'll figure out. Okay, we lost him. We got to get this. But we're trying to encourage. Hey. I know kids love it here. I know they're having a great experience here. I know we're teaching them about life here. I know there's money other places to be had, but in the long term, I think the kids that stay at Miami are not going to regret staying at Miami, not only from their college football experience, but I think they're going to do fine in life. I would say it's hard. I get it, and I totally. It's not a black and white. It's not, hey, you should But I say, what's your bankroll when you're 80? Staying in Miami, you might not have the best bankroll when you're 18, 19, 20. But if you stay at Miami, you might have the best bankroll when you're 30, 40, 50. And again, there's some really interesting money being flown around. And like I said, there's not a right or wrong answer for these kids. But I know the answer I want is everybody stays and we go make the top 12 next year and go fight for the big dance. That'd be pretty cool.
Can you tell us anything about App State?
Yeah, no, electric athletically, really high-scoring team. The league they played in is a pretty high-scoring league, but they're the only team that beat JMU this year in overtime 2 weeks ago. They became famous when they were the 1AA and went in the big house and won. So they've been really good football program for anybody who knows any college football. And I'm not a big-time guy, Division III guy, Division II guy. So I know Appy State pretty cool when you go in the big house and do what they did. And they've been good prior to that, national championship, then obviously transition to 1A and have been really good since, and just electric athletically. So I think they lost to North Carolina in overtime, correct? North Carolina was preseason top 8 based on talent. I know they didn't have they're still really good, but I know how talented, North Carolina is. The best quarterback in the country and they took them to overtime. So really, really talented team, which you expect bowl season. Everybody's good, and so it'll be an awesome challenge against a great program.